Welcome to Boy Time Podcast. We're gonna get litty time, yeah. Oh, it's your Boy Time Podcast. Coming in with the slam dunk of a theme song.
Hi ho ho, it's me, forever teenager Seth Rogen, back at it again with a new episode of the Boy Time Podcast. And as always, I'm joined by Babby. We have another slower week, I suppose. Not a whole lot has happened. A lot of small things, but not one big mondo release thing. So I guess that's pretty good. The Last of Us episode this week was really, really good. Probably be talking about that for a while. I watched 2 of the highest rated things on my little poster to contrast last week's 3 lowest. So I'll be talking about what those are. I couldn't... The third one, I was trying to make work, but it's really long because it's a spaghetti western, which means that it's guaranteed to be over 2.5 hours long. It is Sergio Leone's Once Upon a Time in the West. I did not have the time to watch it, so maybe next week. I did not have the time in the West to watch it. So I don't know if I'm going to watch that next week. I don't know what my little gimmick is going to be for this next week. I don't know if I'll have anything. So that'll be good. Yeah, there isn't a whole lot to talk about. But we do have one little bit of gaming news. I was kind of hoping Paul would be here for this, but he is not. It was announced, I think, doesn't Paradox make the City Skylines games?
I think so.
Yeah, well, they announced they're making a squeakquel. The City Skylines 2. Hooray! I played the first one. It's very stressful. But,
yeah.
I mean, I feel like to play that game, you kind of have to already have a grasp on city planning. Because it is like, it felt really real and very stressful. So it kind of cemented the idea that I'm not going to be a city planner.
Scratch that off the career list.
Yeah, I know. It was that and then like sewage worker. And I was like, well, I could still be a sewage worker. Mm-hmm. I could be a power washer.
You could be a sewage planner.
I don't know. Hopefully there's a sewage DLC for City Skylines 2 that maybe would help me. But that was announced. I think it's supposed to come out this year. So that's exciting. Paul loves Paradox games, so it's a little unfortunate he's not here to talk about it. But I don't know if he's really played the first City Skylines game. It doesn't seem like his type of game. It's like adjacent to what he would usually play.
Yeah.
But
the boring version.
Yeah. No war in this one.
No war.
Not a lot of strategy.
Just city.
No strategy in planning a city. You just kind of got to do
None at all.
No strategy. Just planning.
I can speak from experience.
Yeah. So that's coming. That's pretty exciting. And that's it for gaming news.
Wrong.
Oh. What else is there?
CSGO 2.
Oh, I forgot. Yes, CSGO 2, it was announced.
Yes, not officially yet, but basically.
Wait, what do you mean? I thought it was official.
Maybe they made it official today, I don't know.
Oh, wait, yeah, it does say rumored sequel.
Yeah, but it was in the NVIDIA updates, so it has like a pretty firm, like, it's real.
Yeah.
And apparently it's like almost ready to go. Like there could be a beta this month.
Oh.
So
okay.
This could happen pretty quickly.
Could be interesting.
I don't know how they're going to handle skins and everything because I feel like a lot of people are going to be angry if they can't transfer their skins to the new game.
Yes.
If it's even going to be a new game or if it's just going to be a massive update. I guess we don't know that yet.
I mean, it looks like it's going to be just like a complete engine overhaul,
Yeah.
which
It's just
usually
whether
would
they want to
mean...
put that in a new game or if they want to completely overhaul the entire. I would imagine it's a new game because
Probably.
it does change everything about it. So
But like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how all that would work with skin economy and stuff. They would probably still keep it free.
I would imagine so.
CS:GO 1 is free. I guess they're gonna follow the
Except you have to do the
Valorant
$15. You have to do the $15 Prime matchmaking,
model. Right.
so you don't get cheaters in your game. So hopefully they actually have an anti-cheat.
Yes.
Because back it's kind of bad.
Well, yeah. Yeah, because I guess like their only real competition is Valorant. I wouldn't say there's any other tactical shooters out there right
Siege
now.
to a lesser extent, but that's kind of
Yeah.
close.
There's like competitive in that game, but it's not as
It's not as huge of an esport though.
no. CS:GO is the best esport, I think.
True.
I
Real
do enjoy
facts.
watching those sometime. That could be interesting.
That'll be exciting.
Yeah.
It's been like what? I guess it's been over 10 years.
Yeah.
Kind of ready for a new one.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, because this will be on the Source 2 engine, which is it hasn't been used in a whole lot of things. I know it's in Dota 2.
Yeah, Dota 2 has it.
Half-Life Alyx, I think, used it.
Yeah.
But that might be it.
Valve doesn't make games anymore, so it's kind of hard to use their new technology.
True. But I don't know how much of it's kind of hard to compare the Source 2 engine to the Source 1 engine if you're using Half-Life Alyx as a little as a way to compare it, because it's a VR game, so it's hard to know how much of the changes is because it's a VR game and how much of the changes is because it's in the Source 2 engine.
True.
So if we do get a CS:GO 2, then it'll be a little easier to compare the engines, especially since we still have CS:GO 1. So we'll see how
I'm sure
much
everybody will be able to feel it like immediately.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, it's CS:GO was built on like the same engine that like the first Half-Life game is on.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it'll definitely feel different. I don't know how different it's going to feel, because it isn't like it's on the Unreal 5 engine or whatever.
Right.
So
I don't think
it'll
it'll be like extreme. I think it'll just be nicer overall,
Yeah.
more up to date.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I will probably try out the beta. Might be interesting. Go back to my roots.
Real.
So that'll be.
to get hurt again.
Yes. Yes, it's always fun getting hurt. I would say I am a masochist. So that's pretty exciting. Two pretty big sequels. I would say CS:GO 2 is probably the bigger sequel, because City Skylines is pretty niche. But
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. I forgot about that. Thank you for bringing it up. For Gore. Let's do show news. Got a little bit of show news. We got our first trailer today, as of us recording this podcast, of the final Barry season.
I'm done.
He's in jail.
Oh yeah.
That is pretty much the. I didn't watch the trailer, but like the poster is him in a jail cell. I'm like, oh yeah, he kind of got arrested at the end of season 3. But that is coming out April 16th. So we got a little over a month. I don't know when Succession is wrapping up, but there's probably going to be overlap with Barry and Succession.
Good thing The Last of Us is ending next week.
Yeah, I know. It's like we got a lot of stuff within like the next 2 months are premiering their last season, because Succession, Ted Lasso, and Barry are all premiering their last seasons this month and in April. So those are 3 pretty big shows. I'll be interested to see where all those people go, especially Bill Hader. I really like him. I'd love to see him do another Barry-esque show, a kind of dark comedy, because you don't usually see those. Those are kind of dying. They're a dying breed. They were real big in the 90s and like late 80s into the 90s, but now you don't really see them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad we're kind of getting a semi-revival of it with Barry. But the last season of Barry was so bleak. They had funny moments, but man, it was just so depressing because Barry was going through his I'm a depressed sociopath era, which I guess has been the whole show, but it just felt a little sadder in season 3. Yeah. But we'll probably talk about that when all that comes out. I don't know if we'll have weekly roundups of Barry in succession like we do with The Last of Us. Guess we'll see, but I don't know. I guess speaking of The Last of Us, we can talk about the episode that came out this week. I forgot what it's called. Why doesn't it say? Why doesn't it say?
I forgot. I forgot.
I forgot too. It's probably like Left Behind 2.
It has like need in it or something. I don't know.
Oh, does it? I think so. When we are in need.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes, this is the cannibal episode of The Last of Us. Yes, this is. I don't know. It's gonna be tough. I want to say that this one is my favorite one because the ending of it was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some of the best acting we've seen in this show so far, which is crazy because this show has really been a masterclass in acting, really. But man, the ending of this episode where Joel and Ellie reconnect, I was starting to feel it. My chest was getting tight in a way that I was about to beef tears of joy, but didn't quite do it. But it was very, very good. What did you think of When We Are in Need?
I think it was very close to the game, which is
Yes,
a good thing and also a bad thing because I had to see that again. So
true.
Yeah, that part in the game was always like oh my god, why do I have to subject myself to this part every single time?
It's rough. Yeah.
I'm glad that they did like the boss scene like really genuine.
It was
to the
really
game.
close.
Like, that was
yeah.
really cool. Without all the annoying like hit him 3 times and like don't step on the plates.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I was half expecting them to like have her step on a plate just for the memes.
Mm-hmm. Well, they showed the rabbit.
That's true.
She
They did show the rabbit, but
she didn't kill the
we
rabbit.
didn't get the rabbit moment.
No, she didn't even use a bow.
Yeah, I guess that wasn't like because there's more of a time jump I think in the game, right?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
So there's kind of like she gets this bow from somewhere.
I think it's in Left Behind when she's in the mall. She gets the bow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that is how that is established.
Yeah. So I didn't get that, but I mean,
it's fine.
It was a cool callback to like the shooting thing though, where they practice shooting in like episode 4 or whatever. So
yeah,
still worked pretty well.
Mm-hmm. No, I think it was very well done.
It was funny seeing Troy Baker try to kill his own character.
That was kind of funny.
That was kind of funny.
Yeah, I know that why can't I? Oh, Ashley Johnson. I know that she's supposed to be in the show too. I don't think we've seen her yet.
She's got one episode.
She must be in the last episode. I wonder if she's a Firefly.
She might be.
I think that I don't remember if I made this prediction on the podcast, but I thought that it would have been funny for Ashley Johnson to play Ellie's mom in like a flashback or something. That would have been a little weird, but
yeah. I feel like having Ashley Johnson is going to be weird because her voice is so distinct.
Yeah, and it isn't like Troy Baker where he does the voice. It's like Ashley
Yeah.
Johnson is pretty
Is the
much
voice,
Ellie.
yeah.
Or at least her like 19-year-old self in Last of Us 2. She
Mm-hmm.
she did some stuff to make herself sound younger, but
Well, yeah.
for the most part it just sounds like her. Which will be interesting. I could still kind of tell with Troy Baker, but it wasn't like so
It wasn't too
apparent.
obvious.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really liked. I didn't know if they were gonna do the cannibal aspect of it, because like for the longest time it didn't come up. I just like, oh, they're gonna just make this like a religious cult, because that's kind of what they did at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's ever really an aspect in the game where he's a
It might be
pastor.
hinted at, but like it's not like as apparent as they made it.
He does kind of give like
He did give
youth pastor
vibes.
yeah. He's like, hey, no, I'm not gonna harm you, and then he hits the girl on the side of the face,
Yeah, which is
which abuse never happens in religious communities.
Never.
That's just what I'm going to say. Yeah. I don't. Well, I'm not going to talk about it. There was. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I say this every week, but it's just like, man, it's just like I keep like, Bella Ramsey. I don't know if I'm feeling it, but then like every single week I'm proven wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah,
she only got one episode left with her too. So
I know. I'm a little bit nervous for what they're gonna do for Last of Us 2.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Are they just not gonna do a time jump? But I feel like you kind of need the time
you
jump.
have to.
I was
just don't
like,
know who they're gonna get.
I was thinking of that this week, where it's like you could still do Pedro for Joel for like the one episode he's in, unless they do like the flashbacks
before he goes on a fun vacation.
He does do a fun
For
vacation.
the rest of the game.
Yeah, he's on a very important mission.
Yes, he's on an important mission.
Yeah, it's very important. He just went to Seattle for a fun vacation. Ellie wanted to go there to catch up with him.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I don't know who they're gonna get to play Ellie, or if they just wait a couple of years and let Bella Ramsey grow up a bit. But I feel like they want to strike when the iron's hot.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
to
we've seen it before. The shows do like really good casting between ages, so I'm sure they'll find someone.
I don't doubt HBO and their casting thing. Like every single casting in this show has been absolutely phenomenal, and I guess in every show. I can't imagine Kieran Culkin's character in Succession being played by anyone else.
Yeah, that's true.
He has to be played by Kieran Culkin, and the guy that plays I can't remember anybody's name on that show now except for Tom and Greg.
Oh yeah, I get to see Tom and Greg again.
My favorite characters. Who's the freaking guy who wants to take over that does not narrow it down at all. Ken, yeah, that guy is just that guy in real life. So like, it's great casting. So, yeah, I know. I've watched enough HBO shows to trust that they do a great job with that. So, we'll see. It'll be very interesting to see who's going to be playing all the Last of Us 2 characters. You're probably going to get Jenny Slate to play Dina.
Whoever plays Abby, I hope they're not on social media or on the internet, or don't have a home address that's readily available.
There's this one. I don't know if she's an actor. I think she's like I don't want to say a small time actor, but like she hasn't been in a lot of things. But people have been posting her picture, and she looks like just like Abby. So like if they get her, that would be pretty G-dang It would be so spot on. I don't know how good of an actress she is.
Yeah, that's the issue. You need like a really good actress for that part.
Yeah.
Abby's gonna kind of make or break that season.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I can't find it. Jocelyn Mettler. That's her. I don't know what else she's been in. All of this information is about the game. I don't care about the game. Tell me about this lady. Okay. She's the face. She was like the face model. She was a character animator on the game. So maybe don't get her because he's not a professional.
Yeah, they can find someone. It doesn't need to be 100% accurate.
No, it doesn't. Or you can find someone. Just Pedro Pascal just happens to look just like Joel.
Yeah, it's just a coincidence.
Yeah, they should probably get like Jessica Alba. She'd be a great Abby.
Get like a triple A-list actor.
Get Anya Taylor-Joy to play
Yeah.
Abby, you cowards.
That'd be the worst case.
Well, there wouldn't be people who haven't played the game being like, she's trans.
Yeah, I suppose.
I think it's funny that like people are like Abby's a obvious stand-in for a trans character when there's already a trans character.
Yeah, that people don't even realize.
No, it's just.
I'm ready for the TV show part, so I don't have to like look at the opinions of those people on this piece of art.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm sure the reception will be a whole lot better.
Yeah.
Or it'll be. I honestly don't know how the
Tobin
TV
should
crowd
be
is going to
his
take.
hands on it.
Well, yeah, but like I don't think he's watching this show anyways. He probably
He is.
didn't get past the. Oh, he did. He is.
Yeah, he complained about the third episode.
I was gonna say he probably didn't get past the third episode.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they do, right? They run shows where it's like, get the clickbaity stuff.
Sure.
It's just easy points.
Yeah. I mean, if I was a conservative commentator, I would be.
Which is the easiest job in the world.
It is the easiest job.
I'd be so good at that.
Twitter already thinks I am a conservative commentator, so maybe I should just lean into that and make a bunch of money.
Don't do that.
Sell my soul and make a bunch of money.
I don't
on the
affiliate
internet.
with this person.
I'm going to turn the Boy Time Twitter into Patriot Time.
Oh, God.
What? I'm trying to think of like a good conservative, because all the good ones are taken. Turning
Just
Point.
keep it boy time.
Oh, that's true.
You could spin that.
That's true. No women allowed.
Yeah.
Boy Time. That's good. I'll have to think about that. Make some decisions about my future.
Great. What part of
But yeah. We'll see how this show ends. How they're going to handle the ending. When they're going to cut it off. Be a little interesting. Yeah. I guess the one episode we have left with Bella Ramsey, she's probably not going to be in half of it. Or she's not going to be conscious in half
She
of
just
it.
won't be conscious, yeah.
Yeah.
She has one very, very important line of dialogue.
Giraffe.
That and the other very, very important piece of dialogue.
What's it? You promise whatever?
Or
That
just
one.
the last word of the game.
Okay. Isn't it just okay? Yeah.
It's just okay. She's got to really nail that.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, that whole sequence has to be...
Oh, yeah, that whole sequence has to be done really well. So
Yeah. If you're going to set
sure it
up
will.
the next one.
yeah.
So, very, very good. Very good stuff. We didn't really talk about this episode a whole lot, but...
It's kind of similar to the game. I didn't have too many.
Yeah.
It was amazing, but I don't have much to add commentary-wise.
Yeah,
I
this
feel
one
like
and the
this is pretty
last
run-of-the-mill.
one
Yeah.
were very, very close to their counterparts.
I think this episode was a lot better, obviously, but
I do too. Yeah, I liked how the cannibalism was handled. Because I don't think you see anything as Ellie.
no, you don't see because like there's like a body on the table in the game. I think. Is it,
Yeah.
like, yeah.
But like that's not necessarily cannibalism.
Right.
It could just be preparing a body to, I don't know, get cremated or whatever, bury it.
Yeah.
I don't know. But in the show, they're more explicit where she's in like this kitchen where they're preparing meat, and then there's like an ear on the floor. And it's like, oh, these guys were preparing people. Oh no, Soylent Green is people.
What?
Yes, it's
Yeah,
true. It's true. Whoever played David, I thought he was fantastic in the role.
True.
I don't know who played him. I feel like finding who plays anybody in this show is so hard, because all that comes up is just all these videos and articles that are like, look how good this is compared to the game. This is what it is. Wow, they already have on the HBO's Last of Us wiki. They already have them in the category deceased characters. Well, that's a little rough.
I think that happens with most characters in this show.
Yeah.
They're just introduced and then taken away.
He was in El Camino apparently.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't remember. No, he's in Killers of the Flower Moon, that Scorsese movie. That's coming out this year. So I'll see him again. Very, very interesting. I thought he was great. Did a good job portraying David on the silver screen.
Real.
But I think I've said everything I want to say about it. We'll probably have more to say about the whole show and this finale next week. Hopefully.
I would hope so.
Yeah. So there you go. Stay tuned for that. Moving on to movie news. We got a new Spider-Verse clone coming out. It's only taken until recently for all of these animated movies that are ripping off Spider-Verse to come out.
That's how much time it took to make
That's
them.
how much time it takes. We had Puss in Boots, which is not totally copying the Spider-Verse style. It's just
like
very
some inspiration.
stylized.
Yeah.
This movie seems to be doing the exact same style. It is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. It is like animated on twos, so every single or every other frame is missing. And then the backgrounds are very much like, they try to keep it like concept art-y, where like maybe all of the colors aren't filled out. Which, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was a comic book also, before it was a TV show and movie and other things. And it was very dark and edgy. I don't think this is going to be dark and edgy. But like Spider-Verse, this movie has Post Malone in it. I don't know if he's doing a song for it. He's just in it. He's playing a villain, I think. I kind of cringed immediately when the trailer started and it said like from Forever Teenager Seth Rogen. I'm like, that is the cringiest thing I've ever heard. Never describe yourself as a forever teenager. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I don't think he's even in it. I think he's just producing it, which is weird. It's directed by one of the writers of Gravity Falls and Mitchell's versus the Machines. Two things I think are actually pretty dang good. So there is some hope for this. I think the cast is pretty solid for the main Turtles. They did not go big name actors at all. Like, Like, I think the guy who's playing Donatello is just like straight up a kid. Like his voice hasn't changed. Which if you're showing teenage turtles, that's probably accurate. So it's pretty good. I forget who's playing. What's her face? The yellow tracksuit girl. April. Yeah. I forget who's playing her, but I know they race swapped her, and people are upset. Oh no!
No, my fictional character, no.
Let me see who's playing her. Ayo Idibiri. I'm butchering that. I don't. I feel like I should know. Oh yeah, it's the chick from The Bear. Okay. The Bear. I thought she was great in The Bear. So. Yeah, I don't. I mean, all of the other casting looks pretty dang good. Yeah, Giancarlo Esposito, John Cena, Ice Cube, Paul Rudd, Hannibal Buress, Maya Rudolph, Post Malone, and I think probably the best casting of all time, Jackie Chan as Splinter. Come on, that's perfect.
Perfect. I thought Giancarlo Esposito was gonna play.
I don't know who Giancarlo Esposito is playing.
Shredder.
Maybe he's playing Baxter Stockman.
I don't even know who that is.
I don't know either. Shredder isn't even listed as one of the characters. Yeah, I don't know. Seth Rogen is playing Bebop.
Of course.
Yeah, John Cena is playing Rocksteady. I don't know any of these. I don't know any of the TMNT villains besides Shredder. But all of these are, I'm assuming, real TMNT villains. I'm just wondering who's going to play Casey. Casey's the best guy in TMNT. He hits people with a hockey stick.
That is pretty cool.
It's pretty awesome. He's like an edgy guy. He has like the edgy guy from Ben 10. He has like his haircut, but like he only uses sports equipment. It's like he has people with golf clubs and baseball bats. And,
that's awesome.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome. Oh, and he wears a hockey mask. That's the most important part.
That's the most evil thing a person can do.
No, he's a good guy.
Oh.
He dates April.
Yeah. A bad boy.
He's a bad boy. Yeah, he's pretty sick. So I don't know. I might see it when it comes out. I am a sucker for over stylized animated projects. I mean, Spider-Verse and Puss in Boots completely like blew me away. So we'll see.
I'm just waiting for the style to get oversaturated because everybody wants to copy, and then it just turns out mediocre things until the next hit thing comes around.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I don't know what other big thing is going to come out.
It'll be years from now.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the stop motion in Pinocchio was like fantastic, and like watching behind the scenes footage for that is like really fun to do. But also it's stop motion, which has been around for like 100 years.
I don't think that'll latch on to like a huge audience anyways.
No, and it's like too artsy to be as like.
Yeah.
Spider-Verse was successfully critically and commercially, which is what studios can only dream of. Well, I guess studios don't really care if it's popular critically as long as it's popular commercially. But I guess it appeases everybody if it's a good movie. And it appeases Post Malone, and he can put that song on his new record.
True. The cycle continues.
The cycle continues. So that's fun. Speaking of studio fun times, we have some, I don't want to say unforeseen Star Wars news. Patty Jenkins, who made the Wonder Woman movies, she was making a Rogue Squadron movie. That has been shelved. Kevin Feige was making a movie. I didn't know this guy made movies. I just thought he was like a producer. But I guess he was gonna write and direct a Star Wars movie, but that has been shelved also. So I don't know what that one was supposed to be. But then apparently Taika Waititi, because he's Taika Waititi, he's looking to star in his Star Wars movie. So there you go. It sounds like it's going to be similar in like role to his role in Jojo Rabbit, which he was only in like a couple scenes. I feel like the trailer for that movie made it seem like that he was going to be like all over it. He's in like a lot in the beginning, but then like it kind of tapers off. But I like Taika Waititi a lot. Even though the last Thor movie was not very good, but I feel like I don't think his heart was in it at that point. I think he made Thor Ragnarok. He made one for them, and then he made one for me. That was Jojo Rabbit. And then he made one for them, and then I don't know what his one for me is going to be. I think he's making a soccer movie. I think that's going to be the next Taika movie.
That's what everybody wants.
I would say so. Taika Waititi upcoming movie. So I think it's supposed to come out. Yeah, Next Goal Wins. It's a sports comedy drama film. Directed by Taika and then co-written by Ian Morris. But that's not a Disney movie. That's a Searchlight Pictures, which I doubt Jojo Rabbit was a Disney movie. I don't think Disney would touch anything.
I would doubt it.
Disney probably
they haven't touched
wouldn't.
that since the 1940s.
When they got Donald Duck.
Yeah.
A Nazi. No, it's a Searchlight Pictures, which is also producing the soccer movie. That makes sense. This is a plug for Jojo Rabbit. If you haven't seen it, it's a very good movie. And What We Do in the Shadows. He's great in What We Do in the Shadows. It's also a good show. So, and also Our Flag Means Death is another great thing. I don't think Taika's involved in the writing of that one. He's just acting in it, but he's great in that. Taika's not a bad actor. I think he's a really great comedic actor. So, I don't hate this. I know some people are like, ugh, I'm kind of sick of Taika by now, but everything I've seen him in has been pretty good. Except for this new Thor movie. But Hunt for the Wilder People's great. I haven't seen his third one, but yeah, that's some Star Wars shake-up news. It seems like, I think that, because, yeah, they're very scared of doing anything movie-related. I think they've been burned with the 1-2 punch that was Solo and then Rise of Skywalker. And now they're like, no, let's just keep making Mandalorian shows. Which I didn't realize, like, The Mandalorian released, like, only a couple months after Rise of Skywalker. I didn't remember it being like that back-to-back. But, yeah, I guess Disney was like, yeah, whatever, we'll just post it. I'm upset. I'm upset that nobody wanted to see our bad movie. So, yeah. But speaking of, Mandalorian did just come out. The first episode came out this last week. I don't need to do a weekly roundup of The Mandalorian because it's The Mandalorian. It's fine. Pedro Pascal is in it, so it's kind of like The Last of Us.
Yippee.
I saw someone someone posted a meme that was like the trolley problem, except it was Pedro Pascal, and then on one track it had Ellie, and then on the other track it had Baby Yoda, and it was like, will Pedro Pascal pull the lever? Which
I'm
one?
murdering Baby Yoda so quickly.
Well, what would Pedro Pascal do? I think we need
Murder
to.
Baby Yoda.
I don't know. I don't know what Pedro Pascal would do, because I know on the set for
You know what
Mandalorian,
was good for him.
it's good for his career, I think. But I know there's a scene in the first season of The Mandalorian where like a stormtrooper like punches Baby Yoda. Like, he puts Baby Yoda in a sack, and then he, like, punches the sack. And apparently, like, there were audible gasps in the room. But it's like, it's an animatronic. It's not,
Yeah.
it's not a real thing. But yeah, it was kind of funny. And then the new episode, they had like Babu Frick from Rise of Skywalker in it. And I love Babu Frick. That was the one good thing to come out of that movie. I think it's funny because, like, I think Disney expected everybody to hate Babu Frick, so they only, like, barely put him in it. But it's, like, the one thing that people are like, yeah, that was kind of funny. It's just like this guy who's like, hey, I'm a little mechanic man. He's a little guy. It's very cute. That and Claude? Is that the name of the slug? I think it's Claude.
Something like that.
That's good too. Yeah, it is Claude. Yeah, Claude and Babu Frick are the two good things to come out of Rise of Skywalker. So there you go. I'll probably talk about The Mandalorian once it's done, but this episode was very much just like setting up this season's arc because, this whole show was like, we need to get Baby Yoda back to the Jedi, and then season 2 they do that, and then in Book of Boba Fett he comes back to the Mandalorian because he doesn't want to be a Jedi anymore. So now it's like, okay, well, what do we do now? I guess the Mandalorian took his helmet off a couple times, and so now he needs to atone for his sins. So I guess that's what we're doing this season. So that's pretty fun. So there you go. We'll talk about it once it's over, probably. Or if something really crazy happens. If, I don't even know. Who's a cameo that would make Grant really mad if he showed up? Anybody, probably.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I can't think of anyone they would bring back. I know Sam L. Jackson really wants Mace Windu to come back into the Mandalorian, but that just doesn't make any sense. He was thrown out of a window in Coruscant. I don't think.
Lived.
I mean, Palpatine lived, and he was thrown. He was thrown into a giant power shaft in the Death Star, right before the Death Star blew up, and he somehow survived. But that's the Rise of Skywalker, and I don't think anyone wants to. I think if we can just remove that movie, if we can just remove the sequel trilogy as a whole, that would just be great. But speaking about that, because I feel like, and this kind of is a little concerning to me, but Jon Favreau was on the red carpet. There was a premiere for the Mandalorian season, and it came out. He did an interview, and he's like, I have no plans for how this show is going to end. It's just gonna keep going forever until we run out of ideas. I'm like, that's not good. Don't say that. Even if it's true, don't say that. And I not everything needs to be like a Kevin Feige. This whole thing is going to be leading up to Thanos. And I'm not expecting like a prestige TV ending where it's like, I feel like Vince knew how Breaking Bad was going to end, or at least had a rough idea. I know that Jesse was going to be killed at the end of the first season, and then they're like, well, everybody likes Aaron Paul, and I kind of like Aaron Paul, so let's just keep him around. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make about it. We'll see how good this season is. If the season's not very good, then it's like, okay, y'all already ran out of ideas. But I still like the Mandalorian. He's pretty sick. He's a cool guy. Shiny armor. I think that's it. That's all I have to say about that. All right, let's talk about some films. I did watch 3 movies this weekend. This week, one of them I rewatched because I showed it to my girlfriend, and she was adamant that it didn't age very well. When I would argue that is the point. We watched Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Are you familiar with the film?
Of course.
Okay, yes, it's a classic. She was asking me, she's like, what is a film noir movie? I'm like, okay, it's like an old 50s movie, black and white. There's a detective and he's getting to the bottom of a mystery and there's a bunch of twists and turns and stuff. She's like, we should watch a film noir movie. I'm like, okay, well, let's like dip our toes into like a film noir movie and let's watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which is a great film noir movie, but it's also like a huge homage to, you know, I want to say like Warner Brothers properties. Like,
Yeah, I think so.
it's what the weird thing is that it's on Disney, and Disney produced it. Well, technically, it's a Touchstone Pictures, which whenever Disney wanted to produce something that wasn't an overt kids film in the 80s and 90s, then they would just label it as a Touchstone picture. So if you ever see that it is a Disney produced thing. It just is not something they wanted to attach the Disney branding to, which at that time was strictly for children, where now I feel like it isn't. But yeah, it's produced by Disney, but it's an homage to Looney Tunes. For the most part, it's kind of paying tribute to Looney Tunes and like Tom and Jerry, like that kind of animation. It isn't really a love letter to like old Mickey Mouse cartoons or something along those lines. Even though they are in the movie. Mickey Mouse and Donald and Goofy make appearances in the movie, but it seems like it's more or less a Looney Tunes thing. Roger Rabbit is kind of I don't know what exactly a stand-in for him would be. But it's pretty, I want to say I was trying to explain to her how like groundbreaking this movie was, but she did not seem impressed. Like, there are so many times in this movie where like animated characters like move real props around. And I'm like, okay, how did they do that? She's like, I don't know. It's weird though. I'm like, okay. But it's so cool. Look, all these weasels are holding real guns. How did they do that? I mean, they just had strings. But yeah. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Another one that is really fun to watch behind the scenes footage of. Because, yeah, they had to get real creative. And they really went like extra too. Like there's a scene where like the introduction to Jessica Rabbit, where Eddie Valiant goes to this, dive bar where there's, it's a seedy nightclub and Jessica Rabbit's doing her song. There's just like one shot and the bartender, they made like this giant octopus guy, which means that they had to have this octopus hold a bunch of cups and stuff and like do all these crazy movements. And it's like, you did not have to do that. You could have just had that guy be like Yosemite Sam or something and just saved you a lot of trouble. But because you made it an octopus, you had to rig up all of these like real props to like move in accordance to this animated thing you got. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, what's interesting. I watched, the whole reason I wanted to watch it, I watched the Red Letter Media review on it. And they were saying that it's a quasi sequel to Chinatown, which I'm like, that's kind of crazy. Chinatown is like regarded as maybe one of the last noir movies, has Jack Nicholson in it. But the mystery in that one is someone is trying to control LA's water supply, which, given that it doesn't rain a whole lot in Southern California, is like, oh, these guys are trying to, exploit the water supply and make a whole lot of money on desperate people. Let's stop that. And then in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, the problem is public transit. There's like an evil company that buys up the red trolley system just to shut it down because they're funded by the freeways. They're looking to set up businesses along freeways, and it's like, okay, it's weird. It's weird. I didn't realize that this movie was a kind of sequel to Chinatown. Even though there is a sequel to Chinatown, it just isn't as good as Chinatown. I think it was originally supposed to be a trilogy. But yeah, I think my girlfriend had some issues with the stakes of the movie being cartoon genocide, which, granted,
It's quirked up though.
it's quirked up. Like, at the end of the movie, there's like this giant like bulldozer thing that shoots like what they call it dip, but it's like the acid or whatever that can kill cartoon characters because otherwise they can't die. And then I jokingly called it a genocide machine, and then that's forever what she calls it. She's like, they made a genocide machine. How can this movie did not age well at all? They are persecuting trans people all across the country, and like just it doesn't hold
Parent
up.
cartoons though.
I'm like, okay, yes, in that context, true. Like, I get it, but it's a movie about a crazy rabbit that is married to like the most like sexualized cartoon maybe of all time,
Yeah.
and it's a joke. It's the entire joke. It's kind of like the that episode of Smiling Friends where they're trying to get Shrimp's girlfriend back. It's like Shrimpina. It's like, oh, I would have thought she would have been a shrimp, but I just I just thought that there was like this super attractive lady at the coffee shop. I don't know. Kind of funny, but watch Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It's definitely worth a watch. There's a lot of like weird sex jokes in it.
Duh.
Yeah, and there's a lot of language in it. I was surprised. Like, I think the taxi cab says "son of a bitch" and it's a PG movie. I'm like, yeah, okay. I guess it was like 88 or something, but yeah, I'm like, all right. Give it a watch. It's a classic Robert Zemeckis movie. Robert Zemeckis was very interested in combining like animated and real life. Like, I don't know how to explain his thing. He was on this roll in like the 80s and 90s, and then it kind of ended with the Polar Express, where he was just like, I want to insert like real people and like animated things. Or like combining like past footage and like present footage. Like he made Forrest Gump. So like he's putting Forrest Gump in all this historical footage. He made like the Back to the Future trilogy, and like Marty is like meeting his like current self, and like there's a lot of like weird trickery they had to do with like getting different versions of Marty and all these things. Then we made this movie, and then Polar Express was just like, what if we made a whole movie using motion capture? And then his career ended. Kind of. I think he still makes movies, but like he doesn't make movies like he used to. I guess he's officially one of those 80s/90s directors that makes Disney live action reboots, because he made the new Pinocchio movie for Disney.
Yeah, his career's basically over.
Yeah, it's pretty much over. Oh, and he made the Jim Carrey Christmas Carol too, which is all motion capture. So I don't know what his thing is, but he he really likes combining animation and motion capture and real people. I don't know. There's a thread there, but yeah, very interesting. But speaking of directors whose careers are over, let's talk about the second Terminator movie and James Cameron.
Yippee.
That's kind of a joke. Because unfortunately, James Cameron is still around. He's just not making movies like this anymore. Because I watched Terminator 2. This movie's awesome. And what's great about it is that they never made another Terminator movie after this that would
Yep.
have possibly ruined the legacy of the first two Terminator movies.
Never.
It's honestly great. And what's great is that they don't reuse the shtick from Terminator 2, where like
They would never do
they
that.
wouldn't do that, I don't think. But like the thing that's great about Terminator 2 is that Arnold is actually the good Terminator this time. Because in the last movie, he was a bad Terminator. He's trying to kill Sarah Connor before she can give birth to John Connor, who's going to lead the resistance against the robots. And then in the second movie, John Connor sends back a Terminator of his own in the form of good Arnold to take care of his younger self. But meanwhile, Skynet has sent another Terminator that's a T-1000 to hunt John Connor, the younger version of John Connor, so that he doesn't grow up and then lead the resistance against Skynet. So during the movie, John Connor meets up with good Arnold. It's kind of confusing as I'm saying this. And what's good is that they never made another Terminator movie that was more confusing than Terminator 2. I'm just going to keep making this joke.
Of course.
But if they were to make like another Terminator movie, like I don't know why they would make every time Arnold came back in these theoretical Terminator sequels, they would just make Arnold good again. When like the whole thing is with the Terminator 2 is that there's just one reprogrammed Terminator. Honestly, we should stop sending Terminators back. Like that doesn't make any sense. Why are we sending Terminators back in time to hunt down younger versions of characters when like they survive because they exist in the present moment? If you sent back a Terminator to kill younger John Connor, then you never would have had to deal with John Connor as an adult. I don't know how time travel works. And I don't think this movie does either. It's just really a backdrop to epic action scenes, which are pretty cool. This is, I guess, like a proto Chris Nolan, where Chris Nolan flips a truck in the middle of New York City. James Cameron blows up a bunch of trucks in L.A., which I guess is more acceptable because stuff just seems to blow up all the time in L.A. Or at least it's on fire. So it just kind of blended in a little bit. But yeah, I like good Terminator Arnold. This might be the best acting I've ever seen Arnold do, which isn't saying a whole lot because Arnold isn't the best actor, but he plays a robotic man very well, and I don't know what that says about Arnold Schwarzenegger. But yeah, if you somehow haven't seen Terminator 2, I would highly recommend it. Do you have to see the first one? Not really. Not really. And the first one's just kind of okay. It's fine. But yeah, I like watching good James Cameron movies before he became a sellout for Disney. Maybe you should just go back to making fun sci-fi movies instead of weird sci-fi epics that are like 90% CGI.
You know that's not happening.
I know it's not happening. I just wish, I just wish that James Cameron became a respectable man again. A true artist that would create a schlocky action movie called Terminator 2. Isn't there a subtitle Terminator 2?
I have no idea.
T2. T2 movie. Judgment Day, that's it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thought it was pretty good. Dean Norris is in it.
Let's go.
He plays SWAT leader number 1.
Of course he does.
It's very briefly in it. But yeah, I thought that there isn't a whole lot to say about it. It's just a good Terminator movie, of which there are very few. In fact, there are 2. There are no other good Terminator movies. And a franchise that is maybe like 7 movies deep at this point. There are only 2. I heard mixed things about the last one, but knowing what I know about Terminator, and that I have seen the first 2 Terminator movies, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and it seems to be more of just a weird corporate cash grab, which I would not expect out of a franchise such as Terminator. But yeah, watch Terminator 2. The other one I watched was City Lights, a Charlie Chaplin classic film. What's weird about this one is that it is a silent movie. It's from 1931. It was made during a time that talking movies were already industry regular. Like, silent movies were not being made en masse at this point. I believe the first talking movie came out in 1927. It's a jazz singer. I have not seen that movie. I know that it's a musical, and for all of the musical numbers, the the guy, I believe his name is Al Jolson. He did all of the musical numbers in blackface, which is pretty fun to me.
Classic 30s move.
It's a class. It's 20s.
Whatever.
But yes, it was a classic move. I have not seen it, so I don't know if it holds up. But I would like to imagine that it doesn't. Anytime blackface is used, I feel like it probably doesn't hold up. Unless it's like Always Sunny or something, where it's like that. It's obviously a joke. It is. The expense is not at black people. The expense is that these characters are so stupid for doing blackface. But yeah, City Lights, there is no blackface, so that's positive. There's only one black person in the whole movie, and he's a boxer. I don't know what that says about society. It's kind of a weird movie. It's a movie. Charlie Chaplin, I think for most of his movies in like the 20s and 30s, he played the same character. And when you think of like Charlie Chaplin, it's like the bowler hat and the cane and like the weird kind of suit. It's that character. I think its name is the Tramp. But not in the Tramp you're thinking of. It's like what a rascally type guy he is. He isn't like a womanizer. He's just kind of a weird, mischievous boy. But he falls in love with a florist who's blind, which is very convenient. And he does the classic move where it's like, I'm going to pretend I'm like a super rich guy because you can't see that I'm in like commoner's clothes. I'm going to buy you things. And she's going to like touch his face, but like she can't see how ugly he is. It's a classic move. And meanwhile, he's down at the docks one day. He's just kind of chilling when there's this rich dude and he's trying to commit suicide in probably the worst way possible. But granted, he is very drunk. He ties a noose around his neck and he's on the docks. And then he ties that rope to a big rock and he's going to huck the rock into the river or something and then just drown. Which, of all ways to go, why would you drown yourself? That sounds like the worst way to go. It's probably up there. Probably freezing to death, burning to death, probably chugging acid, and then drowning by tying a big rock around your neck and then hucking it into the ocean. I would say those are the top 4. So I don't know. But Charlie Chaplin steps in and is like, no, you can't kill yourself. Birds are going to sing tomorrow morning. And isn't that beautiful? Not a whole lot can be conveyed in a silent movie. But he's like, oh, you're right. You're my best friend now for all time. And then throughout the movie, like, whenever this guy is drunk, he's like, yo, Charlie Chaplin, you're my best friend. I love you. You can take my car. I don't care. Here's some money. You can pay for your blind girl's surgery to fix her eyes. But whenever he's sober, he's like, who the hell is this man? Get him out of my house. I hate Charlie Chaplin so much. I hate the kid. It's a bad movie. He doesn't say that in the movie, unfortunately, but I haven't seen. He meant it. I don't know. I haven't seen the kid, so I cannot speak to how good it is. But yeah, it's kind of like a big back and forth where it's like, I get money from my friend who's really rich and also suicidal whenever he's drunk, and then I'm going to give that to my girlfriend who's blind and she sells flowers because I don't know, she can't get a job doing anything else, she's blind. Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. I don't really like silent movies. And this one is very, very highly regarded. It's regarded as Chaplin's best. There are like legitimately funny parts in it that do kind of hold up. I think a lot of silent movies, a lot of it kind of depends on slapstick, which if you aren't, when your humor has to be visual, it almost has to be slapstick in some way or some sort of visual gags, because you can't really do any of the classic humor through words, really. Otherwise, it's, your whole silent movie is just going to be dialogue boxes, and that's hardly ever the case. So, yeah, it's fine. I know a lot of people love this movie, but I don't know. It's fine. The best thing I can say for it is that it's only an hour 20 long. A lot of these movies are really short, which is good, because I can't imagine sitting through a 2-hour silent movie. So, there you go. Will I watch Once Upon a Time in the West next week? I don't know. Probably not. But maybe. I don't like spaghetti westerns, but maybe I should get this one out of the way. So, the only good spaghetti western is Django Unchained. And that's barely a spaghetti western. I don't know why it's categorized as a spaghetti western. I would say it's more blaxploitation than spaghetti western.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. I'm writing this whole paper on race representation in movies. And I wrote like a very long paragraph about Django because I had to think about why I was doing it. Django is like one of the first movies to use AAVE in a way that isn't like denoting of lesser intelligence or of a lower social class. Like Django outsmarts people while using AAVE. For those who don't know, it's like African American Vernacular English, I think is what it stands for. And it's like usually like you did have like black action stars before then, but they used like white English. They wouldn't use like traditional, well, not traditional, but like, it's weird. I don't know. I'm not the person to talk about this, but
I am writing a paper on it.
I'm writing a paper about it because I just find it's really interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I read a very interesting article about it, so I just wrote some stuff. And I'm like, yeah, good. Tarantino isn't always good about representation in his movies. He certainly loves to write the N-word into movies that don't necessarily need to have the N-word, and most of the time he's the one saying it. So I don't know what that says about Tarantino. He's got enough stuff on his plate that you could blame Tarantino for. Maybe racist on top of it. But yeah, it's a good movie. Check out Terminator 2 and Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And if you're a film snob, check out City Lights, because I feel like it's probably one of those that you probably need to see. Kind of like Nosferatu. You should probably watch it if you're into horror movies, like really into horror movies, but otherwise I don't see like a need for it. It's not super good. But yeah. That's it. That's it for everything I have. I do have something for music, but you're probably going to talk about it, so
I doubt it.
throw it on over to the music segment.
Yippee. I only have 2 things to talk about, so.
Okay.
I don't even know if I'm going to talk about your thing. I might have forgot.
Oh,
Unless
my.
it's the weekend thing.
It's not.
Okay. Then I probably forgot about it.
Wow.
This week we had Slow Tie, new album, which I did not know was coming out this week, but it did. Very good. He made it like a post-punk synth pop album
Oh.
compared to like the UK hip hop he usually does, and it worked really well. This is probably his best one, I would think. I mean, I like his other ones, but like, I don't know. I'm kind of iffy on UK hip hop in general, except if it's Lil Sims.
Yeah.
So,
That's the difference.
but yeah, this works very well. I mean, very emotionally, like, all over the place. Like, this is like his existential crisis album, basically. It's like he has a therapy arc in this one too, like most other hip hop albums in the last year, which is
Yeah.
strange. But yeah, he's got insane like vocal emotion on this record. It gets like hard to listen to sometimes. He gets so into it. But yeah, very good. Very short too. I think it's like 35 minutes, but really wide range of genre. I love the post punky stuff. I love like he does incorporate like harder hip hop elements into it. But yeah, he's pretty sick. So yeah, I had no idea that was coming out, but I did. And then album that came out last week that I didn't listen to until this week. Model slash actress. I think that's the band name. I don't know. It's such a weird name. Dog's Body. It's like a New York industrial noise rock album. It's pretty spooky. It's all over the place. Very fun, very dancey. It's like Talking Heads and Swans had a baby.
That's a weird combination.
It is a very weird combination. It's like 80s Swans where like every single instrument is treated as percussion. So there's songs where it's like super harsh, like scary guitar, like just downtrodden. And then there's other songs where it's like super fast break point, like post punk kind of beat. So very, very fun and disturbing and cool and scary. It's all over the place, but really, really, really good. It's also like 35 minutes, so two short ones that are to the point.
There you
I feel like
go.
there's been a lot of post punk this year already. Usually Paramore, Slow Tie, and this one now. And Algiers is kind of post punk too.
Is Paramore post punk?
This album is.
Oh, okay. Huh.
So a majority of the albums that I listen to this year are all post punk. So
Wow.
it's kind of
Even
the thing
Lil
where-
Yachty.
not quite, but almost.
Almost.
The Weeknd also released a live album, but I have not listened to it yet.
I
It's like an
probably
hour and a
won't
half.
listen to it.
Yeah, I might check it out if I'm bored one day, but like I don't really need to.
No. I mean, I think it's like the HBO show thing that he did.
Yeah, it's just in an album format.
Yeah.
But
And he did the Die For You remix with Ariana Grande.
I guess, of course, good for
How
you.
could you forget? Yeah, there's that. But you didn't talk about the new Black song.
Oh, I did not. Didn't even realize that came out.
Oh, yeah, it came out March 1st.
Let's go.
The
Oh yeah,
lead
I did hear
single.
about this. It's not really a song, that's why I didn't listen to it.
Oh, no, Letter to My Fans is, that's
there's
not a
another
song.
one.
There
That's
is,
right, okay.
Since I Have a Lover, the album name
Gotcha.
song, whatever.
I thought it was just the little intro thingy.
No, I think that came out today. Or no, it didn't, a couple days ago.
Like a couple days ago. Yeah.
But, yeah, there's the Since I Have a Lover song. It's pretty good. I like it. It's definitely lighter than I expected, but I've only listened to the 6-piece Hot EP. So,
Yeah, that thing's pretty nocturnal.
yeah, it's pretty,
But
yeah.
we'll do a reaction to the Black Album. I'm excited for that.
I'm excited also. It's promising. I really liked, I liked the lead single. I probably won't listen to any more if they come out. I think it's like 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, it's not too long, so I don't know if they
Like the
release it.
24th, I think. It comes out. That's how we're going to end the fan marathon.
With the Black reaction.
Perfect. Let me see. On hypebeast.com would know when this album came out. Yeah, March 24th.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah, that's the one thing I had. It's pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There's a new Boy Genius song, but I don't think I really listened to it intently on purpose. So
Wait, when does that album come out?
the 31st. I think.
Oh, okay. Oh my god, man. Didn't we have... Did Little Sims and SZA drop on the same day?
Yes.
Okay, I'm glad we don't have
Like
that
actually, it was the same weekend.
the same weekend.
I
Oh
think
yeah,
SZA was on
because
Friday, and then Little Sims was on like Monday or like Sunday.
yeah,
morning or
that's
something.
right. It was weird like that. I'm glad we don't have that happening. At least we can do
Yeah.
Black,
Yeah,
and
but
then the
we
next
could.
weekend be Boy
Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be good. Wait, so this kind of works out perfectly if next week is... what is next week? What do we get on the wheel? Why can't I remember?
I don't remember
Oh no.
something.
I should be in my
I
searches.
think it was Lady Gaga. That's
It
what
was Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
So yeah, next week is Lady Gaga, and then the week after will be the end of the fan marathon, and then Black.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay, yeah, that works out perfectly. Nice. That was
good.
intentional. So I think that's it. That's it for podcast. Next week. Yeah, I don't think I have a whole lot. I do kind of want to bring up we've brought up our friend Grant on the podcast before. He often has opposite movie reactions to me specifically, and we have a lot of very intense debates about it. He messaged me earlier this week and was like, "Hey, are you okay? Why did you only give Cocaine Bear 2 stars?"
Mhm.
I'm like, "Oh no, Grant, are you messing with me? Did you like Cocaine Bear?" He said he hasn't laughed so hard at a movie in so long.
That's awesome.
Grant, stop. I don't get this man. Because I feel like he was just messaging me how much, like, he just bought Ad Astra on, like, 4K UHD, which is, like, a super heady sci-fi movie. And then he's like, yeah, Cocaine Bear, that gets 4 stars, baby. What the hell? What are you talking about? So, Cocaine Bear has officially passed the Grant test.
Good.
Which means it's bad. But, there you go. If you needed any other reason to stay away from Cocaine Bear, Grant liked it, so that's I'm glad that Grant doesn't listen to our podcast. He would be sad.
Yeah.
There you go. That's our podcast. Bye.